bosses! Yeah! Alright, so... what do we do?
We're pirates!
Okay, welcome back, guys. I'm glad to have everybody. This is the second to last Star Wars game. We should be able to finish this thing off here in a couple of weeks, and then we will move on to our next vampire game. So, to summarize, a little quick summary of the last session, Brutus had asked you guys to provide protection to a politician who is important for an upcoming vote. Sent you guys to an apartment complex to function as bodyguards, help him monitor a safe house. Unfortunately, minions of another gang crime lord, Strango the Hutt, were able to somehow track you down there. You were able to fight off the first wave of attackers pretty easily. They ramped it up with another wave and began sending in reinforcements to the roof. The politician's bodyguards joined into the fight, and with some glue grenades were able to slow down the guys coming down from the roof. Thinking very quickly, Arvalis managed to shatter a window and came up with a plan to, essentially using the liquid rope, begin to rappel down the building, which was the exact same plan the bodyguards had, except they had a whole setup ready to go to just get you to the ground, so they didn't have to use liquid rope. You split into two teams. One team went down the steps, the internal steps. One team went out the window, and you managed to completely bypass the team waiting for you guys on the ground, and were climbing the fire escape to get to the roof. So you did very well. You got out of there before the fighting got too intense and you were overwhelmed, and you eventually made your escape. So we pick up just a couple of minutes afterwards. You guys, everybody's in the getaway van. You are speeding away. And no more than 10 minutes later, alarms and notices begin to light up. All the television screens and the computer screens begin to flash emergency broadcast. A very attractive Trastinian female appears on these screens, standing in front of the apartment building. The upper levels of the building are on fire. Rescue crews and fire and police lights are flashing. You can see in the background a couple other vehicles. You can see people running around in the background, and as the reporter is speaking, a few somber officials are bringing out bodies in bags behind the reporter. It says, "Terror and destruction tonight at a local apartment building. In a shocking display of paramilitary force and blatant disregard for life and law, a large force of terrorists invaded this block and took numerous lives. We have reports of explosions, and the upper levels are now on fire. The body count so far numbers at least 50 known victims as the terrorists invaded each apartment, working their way up the floors, killing any that showed any resistance. We now join Mr. Togura, a neighbor who has video of the incident. Mr. Togura," and the camera pans to show a human dressed somewhat in a raggedy coat and night clothes. It says, "Yes, Letty, I was up watching a recording of my favorite band when I heard an explosion directly across from my window. I grabbed my camera and tried to record," and then the footage shifts to show several figures rapidly rappelling down the outside of the building with blaster flashes, as you can see in the lights and all the windows. You can see the flash of blaster fire. And a few windows get blown out. The news report continues, asking questions, talking to witnesses as these things go. But you get the gist of it. So where do you guys go and what do you do? Anybody?
How far away from our ship are we? Our spaceship?
You could be there in about 5 to 10 minutes.
What do you guys think? We should go to the ship and go into orbit for a while?
I was just thinking we may just have to go into hiding for a little bit until this cools down.
Plan B was for me maybe go to that old Sith sanctum. I, I don't know how feasible that is, right over there.
You know that's not feasible at all. You guys strip that. Um, unless someone has been back to rebuild it, which would be a very scary thought, it's not supportable for life.
Um, are we actually identifiable in the what do you call it? In the footage?
The stuff they showed on the news, not yet, but you know they're feverishly working behind the scenes.
Okay.
I say we go into orbit and contact Grudis.
Agreed.
Yep, good idea.
Let's go.
Right, so you guys speed towards the spaceport. You ascend closer and closer to the top of the city. Dock in the ship owner's area, and the bays of the hangar are shut. And there is a flashing recording that the spaceport has been locked down. You can get to your ship, but you cannot leave. The spaceport itself has been shut off to where no ships are allowed to exit.
Well, looks like next best thing we can do is just shut ourselves up inside the ship and contact Grotus from there.
Is the ship registered to our name? So can they trace us back to our ship?
They can't trace you as owners,
They can't.
not as owners. That was conclusively settled out.
So
But they could say, notice that we just went into the ship. If someone got footage of that.
how tightly is the security videos monitored here at the space dock? Would we be able to hack it and maybe alter some of the images?
It's pretty well monitored. It's not like military, you know. It's not like government institution security, but it's, you know, people are dependent on keeping, you know, saboteurs and stuff out of the ship dock. So yeah, it's tight enough.
Even the recorded image in the databanks, right? Can we alter those?
Probably not.
So guys, what do you guys think? In the ship or lay low in the undercity?
I think until further notice, sticking by the ship is the best bet. But we should keep alert in case anything changes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are pretty certain that on the news that if they don't know who you guys are yet, they will soon. It's just a matter of time before they get to the apartment and run fingerprints and everything else. So it's could be 15 minutes. It could be days. You just don't know. All right.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking, what if, like, the original plan was to contact Grutus from the ship? Okay, we can't get into orbit, but we can still contact him. Once we do that, we could possibly leave the ship and go into hiding for a while. What do we think?
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing.
That might work, yeah.
But do we need to go to the ship to contact Rudis? Because I'm afraid if we go to the ship and they track us in mere minutes, we'll be surrounded and no way to get out.
Alright.
Is there any other way to contact him?
Would any of our comm links go that far?
Yeah, no, that not directly. If you need to contact him, you would either contact a minion or like you would send a secure message through a couple of networks. That's how he kind of insulates himself from being directly associated with people.
Ah, okay. So basically, even if we did send him a message, we'd have to tell him where we're going if we want to receive any message back, which inherently puts us in a bit of extra risk.
I was about to say, because the only risk with that is if anyone happens to intercept the message, who's looking for us, be able to figure out where we're going, track us that way.
Hey Chris, do you remember our first mission? We had to go into the underbelly of the city.
Yes, I do.
How likely is it for us to get lost down there and somebody recognizing us?
It's a pretty good place to hide.
And I would assume Grudis has agents down there, right?
He has connections. Yeah.
So can we just hide down there meanwhile we're waiting for our message to reach him? It would.
Yep. Well, as you guys are discussing this, it's been about 30 minutes since you fled the building. And all of your data pads light up at the same time. Big red flashing letters. Get out now. Says meet at safe house. And then there's a blip on your emergency communicator that shows a location.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Well, let's go.
Yep.
What do you take with you?
Okay.
Weapons.
I grab a backpack and stuff all my illegal weapons that I have in it. And can we just take our droid in roller mode with us?
Yeah, it'll fit in that van with you.
Okay.
Who's calling us to join at the safe house?
That's a. It comes through one of the. Let's just say one of the channels that you guys know is reserved for Grutus's people.
Alright.
I also take some of my medical stuff with me.
Yeah, you are going to have to kind of pick and choose what you can grab in a couple of minutes and throw in the van. So I'm not gonna nitpick it. You guys just know what you picked and what you didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking. Yeah, I'll take like weapons, clothes, and like tools, basically.
Bringing my carbine and my bag of nades.
Yeah, just make a note, on your personal piece of paper or what have you, what you know you left behind. But you did definitely say you're tapping your droidica and POS and telling them to get in the van.
Is there room for Braytac?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's two of you are pretty small, so it's a squeeze, but you can get in there.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, unfortunately, she's gonna have to leave Bile behind.
And health-wise, are we healed after the previous session, or are we still in this?
No, you are not healed. I know none of you were down, but some of you guys got pretty hit pretty good. So
Yes.
you
Yeah, I
guys
think
pack your shit
otherwise.
real quick. A couple of backpacks, throw just stuff tied up together with your rope or what have you, and stuff gets tossed in the van. You guys cram in there, take off. The safe house itself is not too far away. It's in a little bit removed from the major arteries of the city. It's up near the top, near the roof of the city. It's a warehouse, pretty isolated, high up in the upper levels. It is, in fact, so high in the upper levels, there's a steady trickle of water from the storms above that's seeping through the rocks. It stinks a little bit of mold, neglect. The lighting isn't the best, but it is considered safe, and most people don't come around here. You unpack and you settle in. While you guys wait to see what's going to happen, do you do anything, or is there anything you wanted to pursue?
Any signs of there being previous presence in here? Like someone that recently lives here?
No, it's you get the vibe that this is a somebody might visit this place once or twice a month.
Are we absolutely sure that this is a safe house of Grudis?
It was where you were told to go.
Okay, so Arvalis is kinda like paranoid at the moment, so I'm thinking about escape routes, backup plans, stuff like that. Is there any way for us to escape if the front door is breached?
Yeah, there's a couple of different access points. There's windows that are really more sheet metal that has been kind of bolted to the outside. So it's not terribly thick. You could easily blast through it and get out through the walls or several of the doors. You could get out. It's not a fortress. I'll tell you that. You also don't really there is a couple of like flood security lights on the outside, but you don't really see any CCTV cameras. There's no security. There's like a fence, the Star Wars equivalent of a barbed wire fence, and a rent-a-cop drive along once or twice a day.
Alternatively, well, at the same time, I think Raking, depending on, and I suppose in addition to any kind of emergency preparations in case the worst happens, would be wandering around looking for like crawl spaces and things for some of us to hide in if need be.
Yeah, you can move crates around to establish lines of sight, and make it harder for like pursuers to get to you, things like that. So you start arranging ambush points, creating little hidey holes where you can get elevated, lines of sight on people who are coming in, things like that.
Yeah, basically.
Chris, can we take the rust bucket up to the surface from here?
From this exact location, no. You'd have to go through a kind of a major clearing point. No, this is the equivalent of that warehouse in the movies that's near the railroad tracks that nobody ever goes to, and the windows are half busted out and there's graffiti all over the walls, but the gangsters use it as a temporary safe house.
how successful was Raking in finding somewhere for us to hide in this warehouse in case somebody should come?
I mean, there's lots of crates and boxes, and you're obviously going to move the big stuff, but you can move lots of the little stuff around. It's not a problem. So that's basically what you guys do is you initiate siege mentality, begin fortifying the area as best you can. Let's put it like that. Anybody doing anything besides that?
Um, is there any way where we can hide the rust bucket from view?
Yeah, you bring it inside.
Um, what? Would it be all a security risk to keep track of the news from in here?
You don't think so?
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on how how things seem to be going from publicly available information.
All right.
Can we see what is inside the crates?
Various and sundry trade goods. It's like a big overstock warehouse. Flat pack furniture, stuff from overstock, from mismatched clothing. Nothing super valuable, just kind of the stuff you'd buy in bulk that was returns or just, it didn't sell well and that's waiting to go to a clearinghouse of some kind. So no weapons, no electrical parts, no bodies, just stuff. Various and sundry stuff. Alright, about 12 hours go by. 12 hours of tense watching, waiting. You can recover hit points equal to your level. How are you guys watching and resting? What's your watch rotation look like? Would anybody even be on watch? Just kind of looking at the surroundings.
Yes. She will be watching, trying to pick through the boards of the around the place, trying to set up a few watching posts on the few windows that are visible.
Yeah. In fact, I can go. I can keep watch for like at least 24 hours straight because I only need to shut down and recharge after 100 hours of continuous operation.
Okay, Vlad and Chiba, make perception rolls, please. All right, both of you see a small civilian, nondescript speeder pull up. It circles the warehouse very quickly, parks around a corner. Then a guy gets out and he's dragging like a hover sled of some kind. It's got a bunch of stuff on it. You recognize with your perception rolls, you recognize one of Major Creel's men. There is a short range, no more than 100. Blad, you would recognize this as a short range communications blip. It would go out for like 50 meters or something, and it just says, "Hey, anybody in there? Open up."
I will do so.
All right. he just waits for the door to rolls up, and just as it gets tall enough for him to kind of duck under and drag the stuff through, he does, and he turns around and he hits the overhead door to make it go back shut. Then he pulls out a glow lamp, a lantern, shakes it on so it glows. He notably does not turn on the interior lighting. And he just kind of calls out, "Hey, where you guys at?"
Blood just calls out. It's alright. It's alright. It's friends. Come on, guys.
Okay. Slowly crawl out.
Yeah. So he looks. He sees you crawl out, Rakang, and you are dirty, covered in just dust and spider webs, and you blend in with the general crappiness of the warehouse really well. So he only after you make your presence known does he go, "Oh shit, yeah, there you are," and then he sees Chiba swing out. Like, "Oh, okay, all right, you guys are good." He follows the meandering maze-like path that you guys have created over the last several hours, around several corners through the warehouse, dragging the sled with him. And he gets to the office area where you set up your central command. Sets it off, turns his lantern off because you guys have the lights on inside that can't be seen outside. And he says, "Well, guys, I don't know what's going on, but it is, it's as busy as a beehive somebody poured gasoline on. It is pretty bad out there." He whips the cover off of the sled, and you see packs of food rations and blankets, some clothing, some just general survival stuff to help you guys out. Water packs. Looks like to be about like a week's worth. So he kind of leans against the wall. He goes, "You guys have any idea what's going on, man? All I was told was to get the hell out of there. And then about 2 hours ago, I got a message to come pick us up and drop it off out here. And that you guys would be waiting for me. What's going on?"
Not sure. Think things might be messy, yes? Shootout.
Yeah, that shootout's still all over the news, man. They haven't released camera footage yet of the people they're looking for, perpetrators. What they've said is that the guys who invaded the building went floor to floor and were busting in the doors. Anybody who resisted, they were shooting them, and they were working their way all the way up. They slaughtered almost everyone in the building. It was bad.
Yeah. Let's just say we already know a bit about that.
Yeah, we were kind of caught in the crossfire. We had to get out.
Well, you guys are in a good spot for it, man. Nobody's gonna be looking for you out here. So look, I got like a week's worth of stuff. Looks like. I didn't see any of the good. I didn't see any of the good ones in there, so sorry about that. But that's what I was given to give you. I mean, that's all I got. I don't really know anything else. Hopefully all this blows over soon.
Us too.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope so.
All right, Vlad, give me use computer. This is you are attempting to access a hostile computer system.
Is this an improve access check?
Nope, this is initial access.
Okay. Hostile. That's a -10, is it?
I believe so. Yeah,
So that would be 13 total.
13. Okay. You've set up some subroutines to just generally kind of scour the subnet looking for news and stuff on you guys. It's just coming up blank. All you're getting is news reports and the usual traffic that you've been seeing over the public airways. All right, so he takes off. You guys commiserate. He stays around for about half an hour or so, smoking cigarettes and kind of commiserating with you, throwing a few theories out, just kind of shooting the bull. And before okay, I gotta go. And he takes off. You guys are alone for about 3 days. So you get 3 days worth of rest and healing, eating, boredom. Blad, one more use computer check for me, please. All right. Okay, same result, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a total 17 this time.
Yeah.
I accounted.
Total of 17. Okay, yeah. No, your subroutine picks up a all hands bulletin issued for you guys. The authorities are out there looking for you. And then when you get up today, that search you're running and the subroutine you're running shows that it's cleared. The cops are no longer actively looking for you. As you guys get up and you see that, and you're kind of cleaning yourselves up and eating breakfast and getting ready. One of the doors begins to open on its own. You hear the of the shaky sheet metal beginning to wind up on this industrial overhead door, and a vehicle swoops in, parks, and the door begins to shut behind it. The doors open, and Grutus and Major Creel step out. They do not turn the lights on, but they reach up, and those of you who are kind of staying hidden watching this, they touch something on their forehead, and Chiba, you have dark sight, so you see they've got some sort of goggle system set up on their heads, on their helmets. Presumably some sort of night vision system as well. And they say a few words together and then walk into the warehouse headed towards the central office where you guys are at. Do you do anything? What do you guys do before at all, if anything, before they get there?
Chiba reaches over to wave at them if they approach.
Yep, they wave back. They have to very carefully make their way through the maze of boxes and stuff that you guys have set up. Unfortunately, they are subject to the laws of physics and can't just leap over all the 3 days worth of stuff you guys have been moving around. Right. Who's standing next to the droideka when they walk up?
I believe I would be.
Okay. So, Arvalis, as Grutus and Creel walk up, the droideka says something in its vocabulator, and it comes out as "Halt! Intruders!" And you see the shield powers up, and it gets ready to fire, and then it almost freezes, and then stands down as Creel and Grutus step into the light. They pull up the goggles, open up their helmets and stuff, and Brutus just kind of looks at him and he goes, "So, you guys really stepped into it this time, didn't ya?" And then he laughs.
Yeah, we sure did.
Big attack. Not. They had grenades and everything. Big speeders coming on top of the roof of building. While junkies rushed from downstairs.
Ambush.
Why didn't you guys at least establish some sort of early warning system on the roof to alert you to incoming air traffic? Yeah, they swarmed the building with people. Nothing much you can do about that. Could have had a better backup plan than unleash explosives and automatic weapons fire inside the hallways.
We did had people watching the roof. That's how we saw speeders approaching and prepare to lay ambush at roof stairs. But then they blow the way inside with charges.
He says, "I have several terabytes worth of data that tells me that you only send people up to the roof after the first wave of attackers."
Yes, but to have people on windows watching the skies around the building, watching as they come for the roof.
According to my friend, the politician, you guys spent most of your time in the apartment playing video games, eating, drinking, watching television. There were very few patrols conducted. Nobody set any kind of cameras up on the roof. About the only proactive things that were done was that Vlad hacked the building CCTV system, which was the only advance warning you guys had.
Chip also patrolled the outsides of the building.
So, yes, it's not a joke. You guys really did step into it. It's taken me for several days. You guys were considered to be on the most wanted list for the city. The entire police force has been out scouring block by block, apartment by apartment, looking for you. Your ship is under lockdown. About 5 minutes after you got the get out message, the cops showed up and raided. So everything in there is in lockup right now. It's taken me several days to get to the point where the cops are no longer consider you to be the most urgent priority on their to-do list. So we have some breathing room. Well, are you familiar with how criminals were executed in the past here on Trastine? Anybody?
No.
It's about to ask out of character, are we?
No. It's a. I don't think any of you have done any research on the history of the planet, really. He said, so what they would do in the past is there's an insect that hypercharges the growth and regeneration capacity of Trastinian cells. Unfortunately, it has a side effect of amplifying the pain along with it. So it was never really tried to be synthesized or copied. what they would do is they would take several of these insects. They would make them bite the criminal, and then they would tie the criminal up to a big pillar or a post, and then let a storm roll through. And if that criminal was incredibly unlucky, they would survive for several days in that storm. There's one recorded incident where a criminal did survive, and when they went to go check on him, his intestines were hanging out, and half of his skin was flayed off by the severe winds and the dirt and grit that come with it. And he begged for death. So not only did he survive, he was still sane enough to beg for death when they found him. There was some talk about doing that to you, about reviving it. But, as I said, and he claps his hands, fortunately, I do have some pull. You're no longer priority one, and we have a way out of this. How far are you willing to go to be rid of Strango? Because getting rid of Strango is how we get everyone out of this.
How far we need to go?
Everyone else? Is that your answer?
As far as it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Zora? So?
Absolutely. I'm on board.
Yep.
That's what I want to hear. To remove this burden from our shoulders, we have to do two things. First off, I need you to scout and infiltrate a large hangar complex, which Drango's taken over. The hut has managed to remove the blueprints and documents associated with it, so you're going to have to start from only your own information. Hangar 8. The complex serves ships landing directly from space with large payloads. It has a smaller area for local shipping. They load, unload, and function as a distributor for many types of goods. Need you to infiltrate, find the smaller freighters owned directly by Strango, and either sabotage them or place bombs on them. They need to blow up in the upper atmosphere. You have 3 days. Destroy those freighters and return with any intelligence you can gather on what he's keeping in that distribution center. And then after that, we're going to go after Strango and we're going to kill him. He's just waiting on you guys to respond.
Sounds good.
Well, you have it. Creel, unload the explosives. She heads out, and you guys find when Grutus and Creel take off that there's 3 bombs. That they're about the size of a soccer ball, a football. Pretty easy to set. You guys, several of you have seen these kind of things before. They've got an atmospheric controller in them. Basically, you'd hook them up to the landing gear. Pretty easy to just clip in a couple of wires, and it takes a signal off of that to tell you how high it is. And once it reaches a certain level of height, it blows up. Obviously, on a sophisticated ship, they would detect these things pretty quickly, but for a freighter like yours, not so much. Not really equipped to handle that kind of stuff.
Seems straightforward enough.
You have 3 days. That's all the information I can give you. You're going to want to get on it. And him and Creel leave.
Sorry guys, I got called over. So we need to infiltrate a place run by Strango, yeah?
Infiltrate a hangar complex. Obtain any information you can. Plant bombs on 3 small freighters owned by him and get out.
Okay. And we got the basic location of the place?
You got the basic location and you've got the bombs, but that's all they can give you. Everything else has been scoured off the web. All the blueprints and pertinent stuff that you guys have had so far working for Grutus, he can't give you. It's not available to be gotten.
Okay. Doing a quick check, is that does there seem to be any devices whatsoever that can be remotely accessed in there that I can pick up?
Yes, there are. There's a number of webcams and like traffic cams. You can see it's busy from the outside. There is also a few photographs of the outside. What you see is several large ships that come in and out throughout the. These are space freighters, large space freighters with bulk stuff. Either like raw ores and metal, or everything from that to huge quantities of fake goods and stuff from off-world. And then you see a number of smaller, like planet-bound trucks that go in and out very frequently. It's a pretty huge shipping area, a big warehouse complex.
Okay, I'm gonna try and like sort of like make a dirty rough sketch of based off of what I can gather from the cameras.
Okay.
See if I can figure out a basic layout of the place. Obviously I won't know every corridor or even most of them probably, but just a general like, oh, there are these things here, there's those things there.
All right. So there's nothing on the interior that you can get. Everything on the interior is missing. But you may roll a knowledge sciences, like for mathematics. So anything for like physics or mathematics, you can roll to generate a extrapolated, at least exterior layout. $13. Okay, you're not super comfortable with the accuracy, but it's a pretty good in terms of like the pictures available and the general streets and stuff, into the the 3D computer that you guys typically use. You can at least generate an exterior view and understand kind of the traffic that comes in and out.
It's better than the nothing we just had before.
Yes, very much.
Okay, going over that rough map then, how many entrances are there?
Well, You don't see a lot of personal vehicles going in and out. What you have seen is there are at least 3 humongous hangar bay doors with the deflector technology that for the space freighters, and there are several smaller doors for more local hover truck traffic, and freighters. Just judging by the exterior views, there's room for at least 3 space freighters at stuff three or 4 or 5 times the size of your own ship. You can kind of see why Brutus is worried about this. He could be bringing anything in through there.
What about for the interior place? Can we see any personal sized entrances?
Not right now. You think you probably could with some more time, but just on the first effort, no.
Okay.
The only thing you've noticed is you don't see a lot of personal vehicles moving in and out.
Does it seem to be like the same ones over a period?
Okay. So this is going to take you several hours of extrapolating data and watching camera feeds, and so this is a couple of days worth of watching videos, basically. So while you're doing that research, what's everybody else doing before I answer that question?
Would Chiba be able to find good watching spots? Places that she can establish like watching posts?
Yeah, you're pretty sure you could.
I was about to ask the same thing.
Chiba will be trying that.
Yeah. Do you guys have like electro binoculars or some long range devices on you?
My scope allows serves as an electro binoculars, I guess.
Okay, that works.
Unfortunately, I don't think I do. But
Okay, I want you to roll. I want the 2 of you guys to roll a tactics roll for me, knowledge tactics, and a stealth check.
tactics and stealth.
I do not have that knowledge. Should I still roll it? Although I don't have points in it.
No, you can't roll it if you don't have points in it. Somebody else can help you with it, though. Does anybody want to help?
I can't help if I'm already making the roll, can I?
No, this is you're scouting out a spot. You're looking for good spots here. That's what this roll is. All right, Rakang, you found a phenomenal spot, and you are very well hidden. But does anybody want to help Chiba?
I don't have tactics.
Yeah, you're watching videos, so you can't.
Sorry, I can help with that.
Awesome. Zora, a tactics roll, please. Six. Yeah. You think Rakang probably took the best spot already. You kind of you shoot a couple of guesses, but you're not really coming up with any other good recon spots.
I could just hear Ricking quietly giggling to himself, chuckling.
Yeah, so you guys are you're doing the equivalent of circling around the block about 15 times, and people are looking at you real funny, like you're back. Why are they back? All right. So Ricane, as Blad is looking for repeat vehicles that are not shipping related, what are you looking for?
I was kind of thinking like we've got to infiltrate the place. So I feel like Raking would be looking for any kind of possibilities of perhaps, I don't know, looking for entrance points for where vehicles are coming in and identifying vulnerabilities in vehicles where they might be able to covertly jump on to get inside.
All right. So Ricane, what you see is on the complex itself, the only vehicles that come in frequently are the hover equivalent of like dump trucks and short haul semi tractor trailer vehicles. You see a number of them entering and leaving. Give me a perception check. So we're a day into this now. So in the first day of setting up recon points and watching videos, what does everybody else? And unfortunately, Chiba spent that day unsuccessfully scouting for a better location or another location. Couldn't really come up with something. What's anybody else want to do with that day? Before I go any further. So Zora, So, Orvalis. Any ideas at all? Anything? If you're saying something, I'm not hearing a word.
I don't think anybody's saying anything, but for me, it's because I can't come up with anything at this point in time.
Okay, well, I mean, that's an acceptable answer, as you don't know what to do. So, waiting on more information. All right, so, Vlad, perception check for me, please, and Rakang already made hers. So, God,
24.
apparently I can't type right today. All right, so Rakang, you've noticed that there's a distinct lack, a conspicuous lack of personal vehicles that go into this area, and you pick up that it is due to the fact that a lot of the personal stuff and even like the public traffic is parking deep below and taking elevators. Blad, with your role, what you see is that the workers, the general workers, the guys who just sort of move stuff around, and even guys in security uniforms, are gathering at a couple of different places, and they ship in to a place several blocks away, and then they enter a building and they walk down several long hallways. Now you don't know what's inside of the hallways, but you did pick up there's some sort of pedestrian path to enter the complex.
Now, I don't know if this could be worth even looking into, but would would it have been possible during the scouting process for Rakeng at least to not only look at the vehicles but also look at the people, see what if they're wearing any kind of uniform, where in addition to potentially getting onto a vehicle, perhaps posing as one of the workers?
Yeah, so you didn't get a good look at the people inside the vehicles, but the vehicles themselves are pretty nondescript. They appear to be the sort of like there's 3 or 4 different company logos that you saw on the small local trucking company truck on small local trucks. So it'd be like the equivalent of UPS and FedEx or whatever your big box shipping store is for your area.
A delivery
Yeah,
service.
yeah. So these are freighters like Old Dominion or you know whatever big freight company. So like the impression you're getting is that they show up here and they take whatever's on these big freighters and then they're taking them off to be like shopping areas or a smaller another distributor like an electrical warehouse or something for electrical parts or stuff like that.
So, posing as workers could potentially get us in through there, into the building through there, if I understand correctly, yeah?
Possibly, yeah.
Especially if we rolled up in what looks like a delivery vehicle. I don't know how easy that would... Not easy. I don't know how possible that would be to do.
Well, if we sneak in with one of the actual delivery vehicles, because if I understand correctly, the vehicle just picks up a bunch of people, from a designated gathering point. Was I misunderstanding there, or is that about right?
Well, I mean the trucks do what they do. They come and they go. As far as like infiltrating as a warehouse dock worker or something, it looks like you gather at a secondary point and then have to make your way over there on foot.
Well, I feel like in order to get the bombs in there at least, a vehicle would probably be a better bet.
True, but consider that depending on what things are like in there, it might be easier to get a vehicle in if we have someone on the inside who's already snuck in to the inside.
I mean, perhaps we could just approach them with the walkers. They cannot possibly be that much chance. And if they don't know what's going on, well, all the better.
So perhaps we can structure this somehow.
Just a second.
All right. Everybody's been pretty busy today. Looks like a couple of people have been getting called away. It's time for some background music. Only issue with Skype is I can't turn you guys up without turning everything up in terms of volume. I think that was the thing I liked the most about the Discord chat.
Could maybe try going back to it with the new game.
Yeah, we'll try that. Especially because the first few sessions are just going to be like prologue to help people find the voice with their characters and kind of get used to the system again. So, yeah, we'll definitely try that.
I'm back. I missed anything?
No, we waited on you.
Okay, so let's just lay this out here. Our three tasks are to get inside, recover some data if I haven't mixed that up already.
Gather information, whatever can be gathered.
And plant the bombs.
And get out.
So. Okay, that in mind.
Yep, that's pretty much the gist of it.
How large are the explosives?
I'll say that again.
How large are the explosives?
They're about the size of a soccer ball.
Right, so yeah, not really feasible to hide that on a person.
No.
I mean, we can always hide it inside a person.
That is... Let's just not go there. Okay. I am willing to try and sneak in through the, as a, worker, head to the, secondary point and then walk in. Go through the pedestrian path, follow along if I need to figure out where I'm going. Once I get inside, I can look around and we can get information that way. And potentially also figure out a way to get the bombs in. Is there any additional ideas to throw on the table here?
Well, I guess I still like the idea of smuggling the bombs in a vehicle. It's just a matter of figuring out whether we intercept an existing vehicle or find a way to get our hands on one and make it look like a delivery vehicle.
Do the vehicles seem to go through any security checks?
Not on the outside. Looks like they just show up and go in.
Okay.
Is there a way for us to figure out, perhaps pick one of the delivery companies and figure out where their depot is?
Yeah, you could do that.
So that is what would be the word? In inverted commas, loading point?
Would that be doable via use computer, or would that need to be a different kind of gather information?
Well, it all depends on how you're trying to gather it. So what are you trying to gather first? You have the first day is done. You guys have come back to your home base here, shared your insights, discussed strategies. We're on the second day. So what information are you trying to gather now?
Picking out one of the you know nondescript branded vehicles that goes in and out,
Okay.
transports, and basically trying to figure out where it gets loaded up on the other end of the spectrum. Where's the other side of this route?
Right, you pick up the Trastinian Delivery Depot. And how are you intending to do this? With cameras, computers? You going to try to track it by eyeballs? Like, what are you doing?
Computers is what I'm gonna try.
Okay. So this is going to be. I need 3 rolls of use computer. None are particularly difficult, but it's a matter of trying to track it through available cameras and everything else. Okay. So over the course of several hours, you access the city's camera network again, and you pick up a couple of these vehicles, and there are some false starts and some that go to the wrong places, and you've got to backtrack several times. But you do end up finding that there is several central depots for this trucking company, but the ones that you're looking for that primarily send trucks in and out to deliver, you do eventually find it. It's not a 100% guarantee, you don't think, but the majority of trucks that you saw yesterday or over the course of these several hours of work came from this one building.
Okay, so if we could try to hijack a vehicle from there in some form, put sneak the bombs in through that. Where was that potential? That would be our way to get them inside. Potentially, assuming they don't have to. It might still be good to have someone on the inside, so I can go in through there and make my way to the make my way around.
Yeah, that can be your job. Just have to find someone to potentially drive the van, and then figure out who's gonna hide in the back with the bombs.
But the important question there is, how are we going to get the van in the first place? Throughout that route, throughout the tracking I did they seem to pass by any places where it might be good for an ambush?
Oh, many. It's just they leave, they go to the general lanes of flowing traffic, and then they pretty much follow all traffic laws and go into the hangar.
We might be able to laying in wait, one of those stopover points with, I don't know, tranquilizers? Trankum?
Would that be viable at all?
Yeah, kidnap a driver and take over his truck. Yeah, I think you could do that.
But what about onlookers?
Say, would perhaps be able to hack onto the GPS or the equivalent of the driver? Try to send him somewhere that would be deserted for us to do that?
Probably not. Not on the trip to the depot, but if you get him at his destination point away from the depot, you could probably do that.
So basically, try to lure them into mess with his GPS and lure them into an area to nab their rides on their way back from the depot. Then uh use that to hire explosives and then go in. Am I talking sense here?
That sounds like the plan you guys were discussing. Do you guys like that plan?
What does
Yes.
everyone else think?
I think sounds pretty good.
Yes, the only one we got, so.
Zora and So, do you guys have anything to add?
Not really. Just tell me what my job is, and I'm there.
Have big plans better than no plan.
All right. Okay. I'll try and sneak in through the as a worker while this is going on. Does anyone else have a decent used computer for this messing with the GPS plan? Or am I the only one with a good score?
I have a +4, but I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I don't really have a good one either.
Okay. Um. Okay, fuck it. I'll help get the lure in first. So, okay. Yeah, let's take this one step at a time. So, lure in the one of the vehicles as they come back. Can we pick a spot and do that, Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to hear the plan one more time.
I believe we're targeting one of the trucks on its way out of the facility, hacking its GPS and directing it to a deserted location where we can ambush the driver, trank him so we can commandeer the vehicle, put the bombs in the back, and drive it back to the facility. Under the pretense that we're making another delivery.
Okay. So, yeah, that's something.
No. I think the one thing I haven't asked yet is who's going to drive the van.
Also, I have a question. How do we know that they're gonna let us back in after they just came out? I mean, How are we gonna know that this truck is scheduled to come back for another delivery? What if they decide that we're not supposed to be there and we all get arrested? Then what do we do?
Just say, just say, fuck, we realised part of the way back that there are a couple things left in here. We need to get this done now, or we're all gonna get chewed out.
Okay, and what if they decide to want to inspect the truck and see what we're bringing in that we forgot?
Out of character, as far as we could tell, they didn't really inspect any of the trucks on the way, like before
Not
they
on the
went inside.
outside.
True, but they weren't suspicious of them, perhaps. I mean,
And
just trying to cover all
Yeah.
angles.
So Zora, could you give me a knowledge like bureaucracy roll? I believe that's something we can roll,
One sec.
and I know that's something you can do.
I mean, alternatively, once we commandeer the van, we can always drive it back to the depot.
Oh,
and
excellent.
Find out.
So Zora, you're pretty familiar with the world of rules and regulations and paperwork. You feel that paperwork gets mixed up all the time. They get driver's consent to the wrong places. To answer your question, you feel like you could probably swing. Oh, my paperwork got messed up. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. You know what? Sorry, I'm just being paranoid. I mean, look at what I'm running from, right? I mean, I have every right to be paranoid. Just make sure that when we, ambush the guy, we take his papers, his ID, his whatever he's got. We need to show it at the little window. Don't just kind of dump the body and leave him there. You know what I mean?
The question also is, what should we do to the guy? Keep him along could be useful, yes? He could tell us about procedures that we should follow.
But I thought you were gonna tranquilize him, so if he's gonna be asleep, you're gonna wake him up. What if he starts making a ruckus and raising an alarm? Can you trust him?
Yes, that's the concern.
I'd say
Exactly,
we
yeah.
just keep. I'd say we just keep him knocked out.
Agreed. And we just find a good place to hide his sleeping. Well, I'll say sleeping body.
I agree with that.
If we sneak up on him when we do it, he'll have absolutely no idea what happened.
Okay, so the question then becomes: can we make the check to do the lure to mess with the GPS to lure him into the deserted?
Okay. So first off, as you guys pile into the van, are you bringing everything with you? What are you bringing with you? Because just to know what's available for use if something were to go horribly wrong.
Well, I think
Bringing my holdout blaster and my carbine. That's true. Should I bring the carbine? Would it be the van? Yes. How big is the van? Would you be able to hide one?
I mean, you're not going to hide that carbine. It's just not. It hangs across the front of your body, and
Pistol-sized weapons only.
So just holdout blaster. Would I be able to bring in the grenades to the backpack?
Yeah, you could do those. Those will definitely fit.
Then yeah, also that.
Booking's only taking the holdout blaster.
Yeah, pistols. Obviously we need to take in the bombs itself. It would be rather embarrassing since this was the whole point to get them in. And tools, which can feasibly be passed off as, yeah, I occasionally do maintenance. I need tools. What of it?
Okay. So you guys load up. Who's driving? Arvalis? Driving?
Yes.
Make a piloting roll for me. Okay. So you head up. You lay in wait. This is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operation. So eventually one of the trucks takes off, and Arvalis, you fall in line behind it, flying casually. Now need a use computer check, please. It's not a hostile system, but it's not friendly either. So it's a -5 to your use computer. Oh yeah, with 22, that will definitely. You put up a detour onto his GPS, and you can't see it, but as you get closer and closer to the programmed detour, you see the truck begin to drift off through the traffic and take off using the route that you guys planned. Okay, what's the next step? He is on your planned ambush route, but he still has to reach his destination. So you got to get him before he lands. What's the next step?
He's going to be laying in wait with the tranquilizer dart. Tranquilizer needle thing.
Okay. So your plan is to wait for him to come to a stop and then try to shoot him at a planned ambush point?
Yeah. Have like Rakang do it, I guess.
Okay. Rakang, make a stealth check for me. Okay. Fire your tranquilizer gun at a -10 because the windows are closed. You got to shoot him through his glass.
Okay. Do you have any stats for that gun? That type of weapon?
It's essentially a carbine. I mean, so it just fires using the same as a carbine does or a blaster rifle does. It's just a slug thrower variant.
I think I have those stats. What should I roll?
Roll your dex plus your base attack bonus. That'll work. 22 is
Oh, that was just with the dex.
what's your base attack bonus? What's your BAB?
4.
4. So 22, 26, -10, 16. That will do. He's at a dead stop, not going anywhere, not expecting somebody to shoot him through his closed windows. And he's just kind of looking around. He's like, and you see him kind of glance like, where am I? And he's thinking for a second, and you just pop him, and it hits him right in the neck. Whack! I'm gonna give him a stamina roll. This is gonna be with against a DC of 15. No, and then you see him kind of, and as you watch, the truck begins to creep forward as his weight depresses the pedals, and he kind of slumps against the wheel, and it begins to actually move. It's a slow pace, but it is moving, and it's going to crash if you guys don't do something to stop it.
Well,
What do you do?
King will indicate over to Arvalis now.
Okay. What do you want me to do now?
Move over so that we can pull open the door and get in.
All right, piloting roll for me, Arbalis. Oh my god. Oh yeah. You shoot. Ugh. He slumps over. Rakang chirps out the Ewok for now, which was the signal for you guys. Arvalis, with practiced precision, you swoop in, nudge him with your bumper. The side panel door opens up. Who's jumping out and getting into the truck?
I'm also able to drive.
All right. Blad, you leap through the broken window, hop onto his body, hit the brake pedal, bring it to a shuddering stop, put it into gear, and you now have control. We are now going to go to break we're going to come back in 10 minutes and pick up from there.
Okay.
Okay, so you have control of the truck, you have an unconscious driver, and you have a load of cargo in the back. What are you doing? And there's plenty of people on the street watching. There's still witnesses out there.
I thought you took him to a deserted place before jumping him.
Yeah,
That's
that's
let's call it relatively deserted. It's not a huge crowd, but there's still potential witnesses right there. So, Blad, give me a piloting roll. You're driving an unfamiliar vehicle. It's not too bad, though. Okay. Yeah, with that piloting roll, you guys make your way to a deserted area where you can do whatever it is you think you need to do. So the question is, what is that?
I take it we would have taken everything we needed to off the original driver, uniform, ID, manifest, any of that stuff.
Yeah, pretty much everything's computerized. He does have paper identification on him. But he does have like a little tablet, a data pad in his truck.
Is any of this identification linked to his face?
Yes, there is driver's license and such.
Would it be possible for them to alter the driver's license real quick to show one of us?
Probably not that quickly.
Okay.
I mean, it could be done, but not in like an hour.
Okay, let's just load up the whatchamacallit, bombs and stuff, and like bullshit our way through. Yeah?
Not like we got much choice. Let's do it.
So everybody's going then.
Will we all fit in the back though? That's the...
I mean, you get rid of all the cargo. Yeah, there's plenty of room. So standing room, of course. There's no seats or anything, but you dump the cargo out of the back, and everybody but the driver, whoever's going to be driving it, gets in the back, and the driver gets in the front, and
Would the guy from the front, as he comes to a window, be able to see us in the back? Like, is there a window connecting the back to the front?
no, there's not.
Guys, somebody has to take the rust bucket back. Otherwise, it's gonna be here, out of in the nowhere, with a guy that could report us. So I'm thinking like maybe I stay behind. in
That's
case
fair.
you guys need to a quick escape,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
and
keep it
I'm gonna keep the guy tied up in the back of the rust bucket.
and gagged.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Blad, there's not really a uniform, as such. Not like he's just wearing like a trucker shirt with a name tag with a patch on it and just regular old pants. So, and he is a Trastinian, so even if you were to put him on, it'd be pretty big on you if you tried to wear it. So you gonna put him on anyways, or are you just gonna go and what you got?
I'll put it on and like sort of try and shift it so that it isn't obvious how bad a fit it is.
Okay. All right. So you guys, Blad in the front, everybody else in the back. Pick up, head back to the warehouse. So you join the. You're getting chirps on your radio. Hey, Truck 57, Bob, where are you? Where'd you go? Like, why aren't you at your designated drop off point? So you're getting radio traffic. People chirping at you, trying to ask where the driver's at. Do you try to answer it, or you just ignore it?
I don't have the guy's voice, so answering will probably be a bad idea.
Same time, not answering though would probably raise more suspicions. Question is, if we do answer, what do we say?
Okay, Blad will, shifting his voice to try and, make a slightly, more, younger perhaps, more deeper, more authoritative voice will just say, this vehicle's being searched in relation to the recent terror attack. If you wish to complain, contact, and he'll just give some random number.
Call the cops. All right, make a deception check for me.
Will I need to spend a fourth point? I'll spend one just in case.
Okay. You feel pretty good about that. The reply comes back. All right, we'll tell the customer.
With that crisis hopefully at least delayed, if not averted, let's go driving on over.
All right, so you head out. You guys you go back to the hangar bay. What you see is as you flip him through the records, what you see is there's essentially a phone number that gets called as he's approaching, and you kind of like correlate that with his timestamps. So you hit the communication button on your work on the van, and voice comes on back. It says, Hangar Bay 8, local docking station. What's your delivery? What do you got? What's your manifest number?
Blad's just gonna list off something that sounds like it should be a thing.
All right, yeah, you go back through his paperwork, and because it's not like password protected or nothing, it's just what he had, and it says we've got you listed on that. Is something wrong? So it says you've already picked that up and left.
Left. Realized halfway there, something must have fucking fallen out before while we were getting it in. Need to pick it all back up.
All right, join a queue. We'll have you park in at the usual parking spot, and then we'll send somebody around to direct you further from there. So,
Cheers.
You are flying casual, as it were. You do see that there's the computer itself, kind of helps direct you. Go here, do this, park here. They load up the directions. You're in the queue. Now, what you see as you come in, the deflector shields allow you in, and as you come in, what you see is a huge area, a humongous warehouse. There is several rows worth of these trucks, all parked. You very swiftly look at the numbers. You can see the identification numbers, and you identify the flashing spot where you need to park the truck. So you come in, sit down, it settles in. You can see people in forklifts moving stuff in and out. Make a perception check for me. $12. Yeah.
Oh.
So, you think there's a pretty heavy security presence here. You didn't. You saw some people in security-like uniforms, but you didn't catch a good glimpse of where they're like at or anything on your way in. But you do park in rows and rows of these fairly identical trucks and stuff, all identified by parking number. And Radio Chirp says, we'll be there in about 10 minutes. And then communication goes silent. And you can see, as you came in, you saw dozens of people scurrying around, forklifts going back and forth, and you saw a humongous space freighter. Looks like they're loading or unloading off of it. So what do you do?
Okay. I'll hold down here and try and keep things looking all in order. Can any of you go sneak around?
I'm going to try to sneak my way out and make my way around.
All right. You crack open the back door, slip out.
Are you taking any of the bombs with you?
Do you want me to take in?
Would it be viable to sneak around if Chiba was taking one one of the bombs.
I mean, that's totally up to you guys.
We know where to plant them, right?
You know what to plant them on.
Right.
Okay, leave the bombs for now. Figure out where things are first, and then come back to get the bombs.
I think my best just take the bombs.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going to take the bombs.
Rakan, you also gonna go out, or are you gonna hang here?
I was gonna say it might be quicker if we had two of us on it.
All right. So the two of you are out. You are parked. Your particular vehicle is right here, where I'm pinging.
I did not send the ping. Could you do it again? On the bottom right? Yes?
Bottom right hand of the map.
Right. I see it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
That's your vehicle. So the two of you crack open the back, slip out. You're both pretty small. You have lots of hiding places here. Make stealth checks for me. Priority 1, don't get caught.
Precisely.
Nice, very nice. You feel very well hidden. Both of you, in fact, feel very well hidden. On the off chance, I will roll a perception for some of the people, but yeah. No, the two of you feel pretty well hidden. You're ducking around these huge pieces of equipment. People seem pretty intent on their own business, moving goods and stuff around. You don't see anything particularly exciting at the moment. What you do see is you are in a large bay. There's a wall to the top of you, to the north on the map. There are rows and rows of these local delivery trucks, and you did catch a glimpse of a very large space freighter off to one side that appears that they're currently loading and or unloading. So what is your plan? What do you do from here?
Well, this freight that we are seeing, are we able to see what they are unloading?
No. It's in crates and boxes and...
But there is no sign that it is what we are here to blow up.
No, it's one of the enormous space freighters. It's definitely not a local atmospheric freighter.
Not one of the crime boys, very well. In that case, are we able to see where the crates that they are unloading are being taken?
They appear to be loading the stuff directly onto the trucks.
Directly.
So you find a little hidey hole underneath one of the trucks, just to stay out of the way of the forklifts and stuff while you kind of get your bearings. But you know you can't stay here forever.
Right. Is there seems to be a unloading area for the trucks, assuming that this is a loading area since they are loading up the trucks in here?
You kind of get the impression that they do both of them in here, load and unload for local stuff. You hop onto a local freighter or a local delivery truck. You're kind of in the local area.
Right. Well then, try to make our way deeper inside while the workers are busy unloading the freighter then.
So, you look to your left. Make a perception roll for me, please, both of you. All right. Chiba and Rakang, you both see a security patrol. They're up on a balcony, and there appears to be a very large laser cannon over that has a pretty good view of the whole bay. And somebody is on the laser cannon, and there's a couple of guys just walking the catwalks up there. They're dressed in some sort of generic security outfit.
Uh, Chip is going to activate the comlink with blood and try to whisper to him to see if you can do something to distract the guys on the catwalk. Before Chiba runs into the warehouse, deep into the warehouse.
Would I be able to hook into any systems from here?
You'd have to break out your portable computer to do it.
Fuck it. I'll do so in the back and try to basically try and see if I can pick out any like, I don't know, like a crane or something nearby them to shift around and spook them.
All right. Make a use computer check to hack a hostile system, please. Excellent. Yes, you access. You notice that one of the cranes is a remote operated, of course, and you tune into the frequency, and you just kind of send it down the bay a little bit, and a bunch of people are like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And there's a smattering of forklift activity as people kind of clear out of the way as this thing takes off. Chiba and Rakang, you notice several security guards look up, and they're looking at the crane. What do you do?
Chiba will take the opportunity that they are distracted to try to run into the warehouse, deep into the warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, Rakang following closely behind.
All right. So you have two choices. You can go up north, which you've seen a number of forklifts kind of go in and out through some overhead doors, or you can go left, past the deep space freighter towards that wall. Which would you like to do?
I'd say going left.
Okay. The two of you take off running left. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Dipping, ducking, diving, going around the forklifts. There you find some spot behind some vending machines and whatnot. That's right there for the workers. You duck up against the wall. Breathing kind of heavy. Stealth roll for me. All right, Rakang, you are so stealthy you completely leave the hangar bay and nobody sees you come or go. Chiba, though, just as you're reaching the end, several of the guards begin looking around, and you hit against the wall and you're like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, and nothing happens. You made it. So yeah, there's a few general calls as you're straining your ears and listening. You hear, call maintenance, have them go check that crane out.
Nice. From a new position, what can we see?
You see a couple of roll-up overhead doors to your south, to the bottom. There's a number of, you can see tracks on the concrete, on the metal plating, that indicates frequent forklift traffic through the aisle. So you're getting a kind of idea of the traffic patterns now. You see a small break area right where you're at. There's a couple of chairs and some tables set up, a couple of vending machines. You see a door for some bathrooms right where you're at. Nobody seems to be in the area at the moment, as it is not break time, so everybody's working.
Can I try to like follow the tracks of the forklifts?
Yep. So you guys have already you've come over here. You see, they go up, they go out, basically where you're at. So you duck out to an overhead door. Actually, a man door next to the overhead door. The two of you can kind of peek out on this side, and what you see is a number of shipping containers. Make a perception roll for me. The two of you, as you duck out, the first thing you see is shipping containers. Then you look to your right, and you see a squad of atmospheric fighters. Atmospheric superiority fighters. And low orbit space superiority fighters are parked in the hangar bay. To your left is a smaller hangar area. You can't quite make out what's inside of it yet, but you do notice that there's a number of tire tracks that lead into it.
Fight is like this common in a place like this.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Fighters like this, are they common in a place like this? Something to be expected?
No, they're not to be expected.
And the tracks that are leading to that area coming from the area of the fighters?
They disappear into the depths of the warehouse.
Right. Think we should go check fighters, yes? Maybe.
Well, it is part of why we're here.
If
Gather
they
as
are,
much information.
they are low orbit, so they are planetary, and they fast and nimble, yes? Will make good for smuggling.
Yeah, even the two of you guys can see they're not really made for smuggling.
Oh,
They're fighters. They're not freighters.
Jets, yeah.
Yeah, they're jets. Yeah, I mean, you could smuggle very small quantities of goods in them, but
not for the industrial scale operation that we believe is happening here.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Then never mind the fighters then.
But they are extremely unusual to see. Yeah, that's very something Brutus is going to want to know.
Absolutely.
And we don't have spare bombs for secondary targets, for optional targets, or anything like that.
Well, you have 3.
And we do not know for certain how many caches of the goods there are that we need to blow up, so not something that we should be wasting, yes?
Correct. Yes.
So proceed to follow the tracks.
South or north?
North.
Okay. You head north. You pass a large aisleway with a lot of traffic marks in it. You see, as you pass that aisleway, these orange items here are all shipping containers. Looks like for temporary storage or loading and unloading onto the large space freighters. Another stealth check, please. All right. Yep. The two of you feel supremely confident that with your small sizes, everyone is overlooking you. You duck behind several forklifts. You're in and out of traffic. You squeeze in between a couple of these shipping containers where somebody has not placed them together perfectly. And you look around. What you see is warehouse stuff where you're at. You see the fighters, and you see loads and loads of these shipping containers.
Nothing that would identify any of them as containing your targets.
Correct. You spend an hour or so ducking. I'll say half an hour, just moving through this section of the warehouse, and all you see are containers, 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 containers. There are a few offices back here, some repair areas, a couple repair bays. You see at least one more anti-vehicular gun emplacement up by the fighters. And there are several patrols of these security guards just walking around. In the meantime, Vlad, as you have ducked into the back. You're back there with Zora and So, and after about a few minutes after you activate the crane, you hear a forklift driver pulls up next to you, hops off, and you hear some banging on the side of the truck, and you hear, hey, where are you, man? Where'd you go? Hey, you're not supposed to leave the truck. Where are you? And somebody's walking around.
Yeah, I go out back to the driver's seat, get out, close the door, you know. Sorry, had to. Bullshit in the back.
I'm gonna roll I'm gonna make a perception roll. Make a deception check for me. Okay, yeah. He takes a look at you and he's like, "Dude, you don't look so good, man. You look like you've lost a lot of weight recently. Are you okay?"
Yeah. Doc put me on this weird ass medical treatment regimen that I don't want to go into the details. You probably don't want to hear the details. They aren't exactly pleasant.
Okay. All right. Well, look. Dispatch says you got a inventory problem. You were missing some of the shipment or something. Can I need your manifest?
I'll bring it out and say, and yeah, Vlad will take it out. Choose some things to say that he doesn't have.
All right. You want to open up the back for me?
Yeah, hold on a second. This thing gets fucking rusty sometimes. Hold on. And basically giving indication for the other two to hide.
I mean, that's going to be tough. You didn't leave anything in the back.
Okay then. I'm going to. Fuck.
I'm getting X-Men First Class vibes where the soldiers open the back of the truck. Yeah.
So were there no sheets or anything that the others could use to sort of cover themselves with?
You know what? Here's a question. Is out of character. Is anyone else currently watching us?
Not that you know of. You can make a perception check if you want. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's really paying that much attention to you.
Okay. I'm gonna tell her, okay, just stand here, and then I'm going to slowly open it up, and then as it opens up, I'm gonna try and shove him in and start basically trying to knock him out.
Yeah. So he opens the door. Zora and So, what are you guys doing as you kind of hear the muffled voices, and Vlad kind of taps the door a little bit nervously as you hear the lock opening, and you hear the creaking of metal. What do you do?
I do kind of have this idea in the back of my head, or Zora does, rather, that push may have to come to shove and she'll have to think on her feet really quick. And there isn't really much to come up with the fact that the truck is pretty much bare in the back and we tossed out all the cargo. So she does the only thing she's really good at. And she basically starts making out with So and making it look as plausible as she can possibly do it, with her clothing kind of disheveled and not like, it doesn't look like she belongs on that truck, and he doesn't look like he belongs on that truck either. They're posing as these stowaways that are basically really into each other and
Uh,
hopefully trying to surprise Vlad and make him think like, what the hell are they doing and here?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So Vlad, you open the door, and the guy looks and he goes, and he gets this dumbfounded look on his face. He goes, "What the hell?"
I take that opportunity to give him a good old shove and try and close the door behind him.
Yeah. No problem whatsoever. He is completely dumbfounded, and you just open the door, and he's like, "What?" And he gets stuck for a second mentally, just like and you just shove him from behind. And he goes, "Oh God!" And it kind of gets him like right below the waist, and he kind of bends over, and you grab him by the seat of his pants and roll him up into the truck real quick.
And then shoot back inside, go back in through iron, and just like beat him unconscious.
Yeah. Zora and So, do you join in on the impromptu beating, or do you just let Vlad handle it?
I just have a quick question. Oh, Celie, do we both know that Vlad is cybernetic?
Yes.
Okay, we do know. Um, I don't know. I think Zara would just kind of hang back because she figures that as a cyborg, he's probably got enough strength to handle a beating for two men. But if So wants to join in, she's not gonna stop him.
More than a cyborg, a full-on droid, but yeah.
Oh yeah, power.
Okay. Yeah. No, he's just a dude. He doesn't put up much of a fight. You guys knock him unconscious pretty quick. Yeah, it's over. It's over in a matter of moments. He's well, bam! Just you bounce his head off the floor, and he's like, oh, and he's gonna need some medical attention, but he's unconscious.
Alright, time up, and go back to trying to act nonchalant and keep an eye out in case anyone is looking suspicious towards us.
All right. That buys you about another 15 or 20 minutes, which is just enough time for Rakang and Chiba to reach the conclusion that in this section of the warehouse, there's little of interest.
So then proceed to try to head south.
Okay? You guys head back south, back towards the, go back across the big intersection. You head towards this section of overhead doors on the south end. All right. Make a stealth check for me, please.
Hang on. Somehow my roll 20's reloaded.
Yeah, it
Might
does
check
that.
when I can.
And this time, the security's a little tighter.
Come on.
For once, it's not lagging for me at all.
Hashtag Australian Internet. Alright, so let's see this stealth check now.
Okay, the two of you slip through a door and into a smaller warehouse area. Relatively little traffic in this one right now. What you see are 3 freighters, similar to the one you guys own, Corellian in design, but a different style. And there are several security guys walking around, including another, and you see another anti-vehicle laser cannon emplacement. These guys appear to be a little bit are good at security, but you're better. They are paying attention and looking around and just not just phoning it in. But you guys are on a mission, and you slip in and you immediately duck behind a number of boxes and like barrels and stuff that's lined up along the wall. So you immediately slip into a hiding place and take stock of your surroundings. So you see the 3 freighters, and these are atmospheric Corellian freighters, very similar to yours, and the gun emplacement.
Yeah, those could be used for smuggling.
Yes. As I said, they are very similar to yours.
Yes.
Are these the ones we're targeting though?
The closest thing you've seen to it.
Better check inside, see if they are carrying the cargo. If the guy had just unloaded before we got him, they might have already put it out inside. Does it looks to be open?
They are actually closed up. Access ramps are retracted.
Damn.
So is there any other way in?
Considering how it's similar to us, do we know of any way to bypass insecurity?
Actually, I take that back. No, ramps would be down. So, yeah, ramps are down. Sorry about that. Yeah, because the ramps are down and things are powered off. That's what you see.
Can we try to make our way inside?
Yeah, pick one. Which one do you want?
I will go for the closest one.
Okay. Yeah, the layout is... the Corellian Corporation is pretty famous for not changing things too much from model to model. So it's very similar to the ship that you guys use. And it's a ship. Doesn't appear to be loaded up with goods or cargo or anything at the moment. It's just kind of sitting there.
Proceed to then try to sneak over to the other one.
All right.
And do you know if there's any smuggling compartment? Anything that might be hidden?
Give me perception rolls. This is a search function. You are searching it for smuggling capabilities.
Just Chiba at this point?
If both of you are doing it, both of you can do it. You can take 20 if you want. You're just chancing getting caught.
Oh, then never mind. Not chancing getting caught.
Perception. All right, Chiba, you don't see anything. You, Rakang, though, in the area where your ship has some smuggling compartments, you find a couple of hidden latches, and there is smuggling capabilities here. This ship is definitely outfitted to have hidden cargo.
The king would whisper that into the comlink to Chiba. We can assume all of them have this.
Chip's going to try to hide one of the bombs.
Okay. You need a mechanics roll to wire it into the sensors the way you were instructed.
Well, I don't really have very good mechanics, but I do believe I can do it, yes.
The king certainly does. So, the king will attempt to set his up where he is first.
All right, mechanics check for me. Yeah, it's a simple wiring job. You tuck it back behind a panel, break open the panel, and wire it in. It's just a couple of wires that you clip in, and you're done. On to the next one. Stealth rolls for me. Blad, I need a D100 roll, please. Okay. Blad, that's good. You rolled the absolute minimum number you needed to roll.
Nice.
So nobody comes to bother you yet. Chiba and Rakang, you duck out, you look around, you sneak over to the second one. You're now on the second ship.
Look for a place to put another bomb.
Yep. Another mechanics roll for me, please. All right. Yep, you wire that in very easily. One more stealth roll for both of you, please. Go to the third one. I rolled a 24, and I'm like, yeah, these guys are finally going to see them. Nope, not with those two rolls. You guys run across. Oh, you
use
rolled a
force
16?
point. Use a force point.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so that's a reroll, yes?
So roll an extra d6. So you're probably going to
Okay.
use 2 force points.
Right. So
And for any purists out there, I know you're only supposed to roll 1 force point on a roll. Whatever. We don't care. That's good enough. Chiba, you feel that you are fractions of a second away from being caught. It's just a feeling. And you leap up and you grab a lip with strength you didn't know you had. You leap and you grab the lip at the top of the ramp. And you do one of those pull-ups where you lever your body horizontal and just... And you actually flip up into the ship a fraction of a second. And the guard turns around and looks and he goes, I swore I just heard something. And he comes and he looks and you're seeing him and you're like... holding, like your arms are shaking. Oh, can't let go. And you can kind of see the guard down there, and he's like, "Huh, must be in my imagination." And he turns around and walks away. All right, you guys are in the last one. One more mechanics roll. Hook that bad boy up. That will do it. It's not difficult. Now you just need to make your way back to the truck or somehow get out. How are you guys doing that? What is your plan?
I say trying to sneak back. Seems like the best idea.
Yeah, back to the door.
Unless, do you see any exit? Did you miss any exit into this hangar?
You actually could exit through a personnel exit, and you would, unfortunately, though, be forced to then walk through the labyrinth of passageways and stuff to that all the people on foot have to use. So you are taking a chance there in terms of not very many escape routes. You're kind of locked into to one passageway.
Well, what
should we?
I think trying to get back to the van.
You reckon that's the go?
Maybe grab something to make it in case we... No, leave everything as it is. And try to make our way back to the van, yes.
Alright, let's go.
All right, yeah. It is uneventful. You guys have now traversed this area several times. You've been here about an hour. You're kind of getting a hang of some of the traffic patterns, and you eventually run back to the delivery truck. Do you hop in the front or the back?
Back.
All right.
Back.
The door just opened suddenly, Zoran. And before you can pull your guns and react, like, oh shit! It's just Chiba and Rakang.
Relax, it's just us.
Good to see you.
King will look down at the extra passenger and go, I see you guys had an eventful time.
He walked in on us making out. Do you want to make out?
King will just shake. Here. King will just shake his head though and be like, no.
Chipo say yes.
Hey, you get the sleepy guy. She points to the dude that's been knocked out.
Which one of them?
Enjoy.
Which one of them?
Yeah, there's only one in the back.
Well then, she's going to wake up with a taste of Java in his mouth.
Nah.
Oh, it's like holy, oh god.
A bad imagery.
All right,
Right. So, how are we going to get out of here now?
Vlad, we're on you. Just as they shut the door, and you pop the latch shut, and you hop back in the driver's seat. You look down and you see 2 security guys and 3 looks to be normal like shipping employees approaching you, coming down the aisle. They're coming up. Since you're parked here, they're coming up this way. Right, so they're walking up. What do you do?
I wish I had common sense here to see how stupid this idea is. If it looks like, if I start looking like I'm about to, take off, do they, like, raise their guns, or, like, you know, threaten, like, stay there, make motions to halt?
Well, I mean, they can only see your upper body, right? But if you power the truck on, they'll see the lights and stuff come on as it, powers up. Do you do that?
Yeah.
All right. They look and they're like, "Hey, hey!" They start shouting and like waving at you, like, "Hey, stop that!" Like they're making noises to turn it off.
I power down, or at least go into rest,
Okay, you turn. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Hurricane.
That's right. I was just going to ask something out of character. Whilst Rakang and Chiba were doing their thing, would they have had much of an opportunity to observe the other vehicles that had been leaving? And
You didn't really pay that much attention to it. You were mostly concerned with the forklift traffic and the patrols and what was there. There were several vehicles that came and went during this hour long that you've been here?
Here's a question. Would my personal computer in the back still be hooked up to the crane?
Uh, I don't see why not. I think you could probably reactivate it pretty quickly.
Well, the thing is it hooked up enough that someone else could push the button to make it do something?
Yeah, they just have to kind of like type in the sequence to make it connect again.
Okay, I'm going to glance back and say, and just give instructions for someone to make the crane do something.
All right, who wants to do that? They're approaching closer and closer. Who wants to jump on that computer?
I don't even know if King would be able to.
Yeah,
What's
okay.
the use computer skill, is it?
Yeah, it's very easy. He's already got it done all the hard parts.
Okay. Zora will try it
All right.
then.
All right, Zora, you jump on it. You see the commands that he typed in. You just replicate the commands. Just roll a d20 for me and a d6. This is just to see what it does.
Oh, jeez. Why does it
Okay.
hang on? There. I think that was a typo on my part.
All right. It takes off coming towards the center. It was parked kind of near the wall here, and it comes towards the center. And the hook just drops out of the sky, just whoosh, down and hooks onto one of the trucks and like grabs onto it and begins to try to drag it. You hear this horrendous as it begins to drag it metal, and people start shouting, "Oh crap! What the hell! Ah, get out of the way! Everyone, run, run!" And like people are scattering.
Yeah, I'm going to try and take advantage of that moment of chaos to slip away.
All right, make a pilot roll for me. Yeah. You hear everyone go, "Run! Get out of the way!" And like people scatter, and you just hit the go button, and whoosh, powers up, and you whoosh, run out of there before anybody can react. You are out into the atmosphere of the city, and immediately into traffic, trying to get the hell out of Dodge. And that is where we're going to call it as a successful escape, successful infiltration and escape. Very well done, everybody.
Oh, I'm glad that one worked out.
Yeah.
So that is a level up for everyone.
Nice.
I need to drop off. Bye,
Yep.
guys.
Goodbye.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So again, guys, extremely well done.
A lot of luck.
You know, that's
Yeah.
that's the way it is. It's honestly, I had nothing written up for the infiltration because I was like, okay, they could hijack a truck, they could try to infiltrate as forklift drivers, they could try to infiltrate the security team, they could go for a commando entry. That probably won't work out that well. Like, I'll just kind of like throw it out there and see what they do, and then just run it all improvised. So, I was very glad that you guys did that well. That was really, really, really well done.